Guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. It's that time of the month again. It's Evercade vs Game of the Month from the Indie Heroes Collection 2. This one is going to be Reknum Soul's Adventure from Nape Games. Without further ado, let's get stuck into the video. Okay guys, before we actually jump into the game, we'll have a look at some of the information that's been provided by the evercade.co.uk website. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to look at it. I can say this is really a little bit of a Zelda-like sort of game, and it's a NES version, I believe. This is number 3 of the Game of the Month feature that is available now if you upgrade your firmware on your Evercade VS. There's a little bit of details here about the actual game, and you can play this free for a whole month or longer if you just don't update your firmware. But obviously there's a new game every month. You really want to keep update and play the new game. And this one will probably appeal to all those that like those sort of Zelda-esque style RPG, sort of wandering style adventure games. So this is Reknum Soul's Adventure, and it's made from Nape Games, which obviously you might recognise them from the Indie Heroes Collection 1, who made some of the sci-fi Ploid series. There was a platformer and a shooter on the first cart, and they were alright. They were nothing special, but they were alright. And this is probably feeling like a bit of a mixture between the Ploid platform game and maybe something like Kubo 3 and a little bit of Zelda thrown in. So obviously there's a little bit of backstory to the actual game. You're on a quest to reunite Sherry with her missing family, blah blah blah. Then we're lost in a great war in the kingdom of Drizzle. Yep, totally exciting stuff. Usually don't really bother with all the crazy malarkey, but here's the sort of screenshot of the graphics. Yeah, it does look a little bit kind of Zelda-NES style. And you obviously get different weapons as you go through the game. The first few I seen were sword and boomerang, and you can jump, double jump, etc. Some nice screenshots. Obviously it is a NES version, it's nothing special. Obviously I'm not digging at NES there. There's a lot of NES games on Evercade. Not sure if that's a good thing or bad thing. Some nice screenshots here. Lots of information. Obviously collect keys, open doors, quite important. Basically it's like an exploration game. Collecting keys, talking to people, that kind of thing. And there's some boss battles as well throughout the game. As you can see here, there is a boss battle at the end of the first stage, which you fight a ghost, which is pretty cool. And that's really basically the information. There's 4 souls that you're after, so I guess this might take you a few hours to actually complete. Hard to say how long. I guess most of these games don't have the greatest longevity to them, but let's find out. Let's get the game booted up and we'll give a playthrough of the first set of sections of the game and you can let me know what you think. Okay guys, so once you've updated your firmware, again this is the new game that you will receive. It's Reknum Soul's Adventure. All the information is there if you want to sort of read through it. Here's the game itself, and it's a brand new game from Nape Games, which is really cool. It's great to get these new retro games. I'm always wanting more of these new retro style games. Absolutely love it. And so far so good, I think, with the 3 games for Indie Heroes Collection. It's definitely shaping up to be a really decent collection. So we've got keys that we need to collect, 4 sacred souls to open the path to the underworld. Can you decipher the truth? And there's a little bit of history of Nape Games. And Cade's given us a little bit of tipping. You can actually double jump by bouncing off the nearest wall. That's quite good to know. Thank you, Cade. So there's the controls if you want to know. You've got jump and swim and use the weapon interact. You can also use the start or select button to switch weapons, which is cool. You get a variety of weapons to collect. Very Zelda-like in a way. So without further ado, let's get started playing Reknum Soul's Adventure. Very nice. Yeah, very good. Does anyone ever pay attention to the stories? I might sometimes. Okay, so here we go. You've got your character, Sherry, not sure. You've got 9 lives. So you look at the top, you've got 9 lives. Then you've got your key count, and then what weapon you've got actually allocated, which is the sword, and then B button is your jump button, which only comes into effect when you're doing the sort of scrolling platform sections. If you look at that, you've got your options here. You'll collect more weapons as you go. And that's really it. It does look a little bit like Kubo 3 to start with. You can clearly see it is quite obvious a NES game. And obviously there's lots of enemies, but honestly there's no point in really taking them out. They really just respawn again and you really just end up losing loads of lives. Sometimes you're really better off just avoiding them because they respawn anyway. If you go back up, the enemies completely respawn. So I wouldn't waste too much time trying to kill every single enemy that you see. It's a little bit pointless. That doesn't really serve any purpose at all. You don't get experience points or anything like that. So pretty straightforward so far. Let's test that old double jump feature. So you can get a double jump by jumping off walls, and that might come in handy later on. You can interact with the characters by pressing the A button. Christian the Ancient sounds familiar. Hello, tell me some secrets. Look in the desert for the greatest. Okay. So, there you've got some health potions that will sort of help. Basically when you die you obviously lose a life and then you go back to some kind of random checkpoint. Not really sure where that is, but they do seem a little bit random here and there, and the enemies do seem to have a little bit of a life of their own. Like I say, I wouldn't spend too much time trying to take every enemy out. It's completely and utterly pointless. But so far so good. I mean, it's quite clearly very Zelda-like. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a Zelda beater, for example, but, you know, it's not bad at all. Pretty basic graphic-wise. Pretty basic sort of gameplay as well, but, you know, it's not bad at all. The sort of combat is a little bit iffy, which is another reason why it's probably better just to try and avoid the enemies. You'll end up just losing loads of lives. And there's one of the first keys, which you need to open up certain doors. Obviously this adds the exploration part to it, which I guess is pretty cool. And it plays pretty well, it handles okay. Like I say, it does look a little bit basic, but I guess that's what you'd expect from NES games. And here we got our first upgrade to a boomerang. So it's very effective return attack. It's probably not as powerful as the sword, but obviously you can then reach enemies that are a little bit further away, which is pretty cool. The levels themselves are pretty sizable, I guess, for an NES game. There's a lot to see. You might get lost a little bit and do a little bit of backtracking here and there. Boomerang's definitely better than the sword, I think, for taking out these enemies. Probably takes a little bit, few more hits. There was a door I opened with my key. Just a little bit further in the level. Just a little bit more to it. There's a little bit more exploration required. So this game will definitely come into its own once it gets further into the game. A little bit more adventure style, chatting to the characters. And I think this will probably take a good few hours. I think people that love your RPG style, Zelda-like games are absolutely going to love this. So later on in the level you get your first boss, which is a kind of a ghost thing. It takes a... make sure you don't die quite quickly. Just keep hitting it, it'll die eventually. Not sure how many hits it takes, maybe about 10 hits or something. Just keep persevering, there you go. And you are out. Easier than you might think, and that's basically the end of the first section. So that pretty much opens up a little bit and you get more characters to actually talk to. It's like you're in the sort of a village, so to speak, in between sort of levels. And there's not really a lot to see here. There's just more characters to speak to and more objects to sort of bounce over. Let's see if we can get in these doors. Here's the door. Yeah, so I guess this might be another level by the looks of it, yeah. Pretty cool. So guys, so far I think it's pretty cool. There's no doubt it's going to appeal to all those that love your sort of adventure Zelda-like games. It'll certainly keep us going for a little while. I'm pretty sure most people will finish it within the month. I can't see it taking any longer than a good few hours to actually complete, but it's actually pretty good. I'm certainly going to play it more myself. Not really quite keen on these respawning enemies, but you know, the same happened in Zelda, so we can't complain too much. But yeah, there's a lot to like here. It's pretty cool. Certainly looking forward to this Indie Heroes collection. So far we've had 3 games, and 3 are really decent games. And 3 so far have been completely different games as well, which that certainly bodes well. I'm definitely up for variety from these carts. So a lot of the chat is probably a little bit random nonsense. Doesn't really mean a heck of a lot. Don't know what this guy's going to say. So I'm not going to spoil it too much by playing on too deep into the game. I'll let you discover this for yourself when you download this onto your Evercade VS. Obviously it's a bit of a shame that those that have the handheld are going to miss out on that. Maybe this will be a feature on the Evercade VS when we get it. You'll be able to download these games. Who knows? Not really sure. But anyway guys, thanks for watching the video. Please like, subscribe, and we'll catch you again in the next one. Enjoy this. Bye for now.